What's kind of good about the muscles of the head is that some of them are named for the bones they cover. So if you know your bones, you will know some of these muscles, like the temporalis muscle here that lies over the temporal bone. Think about this. What might be the forehead muscle or the cheek muscle? You'll have to wait for the next slide for those. Let's look at some of the other muscles of the face and mouth, though. This large muscle here is the masseter. The word masticate means to chew, like my fat cat likes to masticate her toys. Move your jaw up and down, and you can feel this muscle on the angle of your mandible, and then on the connection to the temporal process, which is like right in front of your ear. This big muscle, it's for chewing, and it really is the bulk of the force behind you moving your mandible. The buccinator is the cheek muscle. So blow your cheeks out like you're blowing a balloon, and you just used your buccinator. The last muscle here is easy to remember. The word orbicularis makes you think of the word orbit. And yes, orbits are roundish in shape. This completely circular muscle rounds the mouth and is the orbicularis oris. Sometimes it's called the orbicularis orsis or ori, your choice. Although not labeled on this picture, I don't have a label to it, the zygomaticus muscle can be seen. It's obviously the one muscle that's not labeled. And what it does is it pulls up the corners of your mouth in order to help you smile. You can see the zygomaticus labeled here. Smile. Think of where this muscle connects. It connects the corners of your mouth to the zygomatic bone. Now, smile again and think about how this muscle is contracting and it pulls up the corners of your mouth. The zygomaticus has a major and a minor, and I don't require to know the difference. What's labeled here is the zygomaticus major. The muscle around the eye should look somewhat familiar. It is orbicularis for its round shape, but this time we have oculi instead of oris. Oculi makes you think of the word ocular, which is easily associated with the eye. The words oris or orsis, they come from the same root word as oral, meaning mouth. I don't know why the platysma is on the list of our muscles. Funny story. Someone rearranged the list a couple years ago and they added this muscle, and they kind of failed to note that it's not on any of the muscle models that we have in the lab. Sorry. The platysma is the muscle just under the skin on your neck. This is the muscle that people tense when shaving their neck. Do this action of tensing your neck with your chin raised. You are contracting your platysma. The last muscle that I have here is actually part of a really big muscle that wraps from your forehead to the back of your neck. And then to make things worse, it can have a few names. Let's start easy and let's call what I have labeled here the frontalis to begin with. This frontalis, it's what's called a belly of a muscle. This belly is attached to a tendon that is like a sheet, which wraps over the top of the head and then connects to the belly on the posterior of the head. Collectively, these two bellies and the aponeurosis connection between them are called the epicranius. In aponeurosis, I don't know if you remember, but it's a sheet instead of a rope-like tendon. Some people will call the forehead muscle the frontal belly of the epicranius. Maybe you can guess what the belly at the back is called. Yes, it's called the occipital belly or the occipitalis. I have it labeled here with the alternate name, and again, the muscle is named for the bone that it covers, at least here on the head. The trapezius is a trapezoid-shaped muscle that you can see on the posterior view of this little picture in the top right of the slide. Notice all of the points of attachment on the trapezius. the neck, the shoulders, the middle of the back. Remember, a muscle contracts, bringing 2 points closer together. Think of all of the movements that this muscle can take part in. And this is why working this muscle at the gym takes more than one exercise. Lateral raises, front raises, work it, bunch of other stuff. So I encourage you to apply muscles to the machines at the gym or weightlifting exercises that you might be familiar with, that you might do at home now that COVID's here. The sternocleidomastoid has a name that tells you where it attaches to. And we're going to look at this muscle a little bit better in the next slide, but let's view it here with the platysma covering it. Look at its attachment behind the ear, the mastoid process. Sterno tells you that it attaches to the sternum, and cleido tells you that it also attaches to the clavicle. This is the muscle that lifts your head while you're laying down. If you just bend your head while sitting or standing, it's not the primary muscle of action. It's really when you're laying down.